Mr. Shelby Lester.
All right. Well,
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is it's a happy occasion because we get to celebrate 31 years of incredible service for this fine Marine to the United States of America. And on the other hand, it's bittersweet, right? We always say that at retirements because we bid farewell to the Marine. It's an incredible impression upon Marines and on the institution. And so I start by thanking his family, first and foremost, for being here today. I'm sure you were on the front end to see when he started this journey at Parris Island. We have his dad, Archie, and his stepmom, Barbara, and we have his mother-in-law, Mary Susan, and we have his father-in-law, Jesse. He also has his Uncle Tom and his lovely wife, Dee. And of course, we have first and foremost Sally and Jenna. So thank you for all that you have done as Gunner Lassiter, so well prayed for, all of your contributions and sacrifices and hardships over the last 14 years specifically, but to the family writ large for 31 years of incredible service to the nation. You produced an incredible son.
thank you.
That you have everything in the world to be proud of. Some Marines have rocky roads along the way as young Marines as they find themselves in the Corps and make the massive adjustment from civilian to Marine, and we have an incredible transformation process that helps along the way. But 5 good conduct medals later, the Mark Salmons that I got to know in PP&O, reading through all of his reports from the time that he really first started to get reports, is the same Mark Salmons who entered Parris Island, South Carolina in November of 1987. So the character was there already, imbued by what are obviously tremendous family values to produce a son like this who makes such great contributions to this institution. The Marine Corps just gave him an opportunity to bring it out and to share it with others and impact the lives of tens of thousands of Marines, literally. Just at the School of Infantry alone, over 2 reports that I reviewed, a combination of 29,000 Marines passed through those classes during his time at the School of Infantry out in the West, making his mark from private to the most advanced level training we can give United States Marines. So there's no question that his mark has been wide and deep and will persist for some time to come, even when he hangs up the uniform this afternoon. So thank you to the extended family for being here, for supporting him, and for all that you've done. Couldn't be more honored to get to know him and to read about him and to serve him. I want to thank General Clary and Allison for being here. I want to thank all the distinguished guests for being here and taking time to show our support and really our love for what this individual has done for all of us and for our Marines. So thanks for that. Thanks to the PP&O staff for setting it up, Captain Belding for being an narrator, to the Marine Corps musicians from Marine Corps Base Quantico, thanks for being here and honoring the gunner with your musical ability. And so what I wanted to do today is you've got his bio, you can read it, but I'm one guy trying to capture 31 years of service. And I thought maybe it's better to have 22 people speak to you today. But I'm going to channel those 22 people. And having reviewed the reports, I pulled out some things that I think all of us who have gotten to know the gunner can identify with. And I tried to find the things that were consistent throughout those, well, let's say the 31 years, but you really don't start getting fitness reports until you saw the ones really when they picked up as a staff sergeant. But by then, he had already had quite a mark from the time that he made corporal in just a couple of years to a sergeant within 5 years, had been a squad leader, had been to all the training required, went off to the School of Infantry and started to immediately impact others. So maybe no mistake, and the Corps kind of got it right by sending him back there as a gunner and leaving his mark on others, because he'd been through there as a sergeant, making his mark on young enlisted Marines, and perhaps a good number of officers as he was working with the crew served weapons packages and whatnot. So we'll kind of come back to that. And there's a lot of people today that are here that came some distance to spend some time with Mark and his family. And maybe the long distance award, unless there's further, I know at least one, and Gunner Christian Wade coming in from Montana to be here. So Gunner, we really appreciate you. I mean, that demonstrates the kind of commitment and camaraderie that is so reflective of this organization, of why the Marine Corps is different than any other armed service that's out there. Because it doesn't end when you take the uniform off and walk away, that this camaraderie, these gunners who are retired, who are here, Gunner Knight, Gunner Lester, and others who are supporting him, Gunner Eby, it's just incredible to see the team coming back and continuing to support their buddy. So that's what motivates me. I mean, I don't know about you, that's what keeps me in every day, and just feel fortunate to be able to continue to wear the uniform because of people like that are here every step of the way for you. So with that, I want to kind of pick it up in when he's a staff sergeant. Because his enlisted time, which was about really half his career, as he went up through gunnery sergeant before he became a chief warrant officer and went to be a gunner in 2-7. That's about half his career. So it's not, we know Gunner Salmons, but there was Staff Sergeant Salmons and Sergeant Salmons and Gunnery Sergeant Salmons. And I think it's important that we recognize what he did as a staff NCO in this Corps as well. I'll start with one of his company commanders, Captain Green in Weapons Company 1-6. He simply said, "This is the consummate military professional. Promote him ahead of his peers. This is a first sergeant to be recommended," and again, he's a staff sergeant at the time. And there's a guy named Lieutenant General McKenzie that's talking about him in this capacity. Top 1% of staff sergeants. Unlimited potential. I think when you go on to be a CW05, you kind of maxed out. He's fulfilled all the potential, at least in that particular grade, unless you were to become an LDO and keep going and keep climbing the ladder in a different way. But Mark, you kind of made it in terms of there's no room left at the end in terms of where you can go. You are the gunner of the Marine Corps. What more can we do? And so there are others out here that are looking forward to similar opportunities that you've had to be able to continue to demonstrate excellence and just be recognized and keep serving in greater and greater capacities. Superior MOS proficiency. One of the finest staff sergeants I ever worked with. An exceptional trainer. Given the Dragon Platoon Commander billet, you don't give it, he earned it. So I will paraphrase and say he earned the Dragon Platoon Commander billet based on his leadership ability above his peers. So this staff sergeant is filling a lieutenant's billet very early, demonstrating incredible potential. Leads from the front in every way. Lieutenant General McKenzie, a guy that's going on to be a four-star. Lieutenant Colonel Willie Jones, held in high regard by his subordinates and seniors. Ready for promotion ahead of his peers. He's on the I&I under Lieutenant Colonel Ken Amadon out at 4th LER, where during that time was one of his first deployments to Iraq, where he composited into Bravo Company 3rd LER, which I guess became Echo Company 3rd LER, redesignated. And I believe that's when you first worked with him. So you can fill in any holes that I can't, haven't been there. Again, Lieutenant Colonel Amadon, outstanding leader of Marines, one step ahead of his peer group. Major Runyon, who was his company I&I, was a keen attention to detail, continually sought new ways to train his company, shows a drive and determination to succeed in any endeavor. I think we all recognize that. Lieutenant Colonel Amadon goes on, ready for new and more demanding challenges. And he's already a gunnery sergeant, ops chief, and of course what follows is a selection for the gunner program. So he had it exactly right. The self-starter that looks for ways to streamline processes and procedures. And if you want to get into the report, you'll see where he does that at the School of Infantry and how he's putting instructors through a recertification program on weapons, and he's looking for greater efficiencies to bring to that organization. And then he deploys, as I mentioned, to OIF. He's in a company gunny billet. He was awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal for his performance in combat and support of that unit. Major Bell says he was poised and a calm professional. Clearly demonstrated his tactical, technical, and proficiency as well as his leadership ability. Recommended with the highest enthusiasm for the Marine Gunner program. And then he ends up, he goes through the gunner training that you're all familiar with, and then he goes out to 2-7 and he's working for Lieutenant Colonel Phil Scuda as his battalion commander, and a guy named Colonel Craig Tucker, who's the regimental commander, both of whom are pretty highly respected individuals. Uses teamwork, consensus, coaching skills to notable effect. He knows when to listen and how. That's what I've really observed immediately as PP&O when I'm calling the gunner in to have a discussion. Tremendous listener. Thus a tremendous communicator, because that's half the battle. And oftentimes all of us, when I throw myself in looking in the mirror on that, having a propensity to spout off before you engage your 2 ears. Knowledge of tactics, weapons, have an immediate and positive effect on the individual Marine and the small unit cohesiveness. He goes to OIF with Colonel Joe Latois, now retired, when he had the battalion, who now runs our Close Combat Lethality Task Force. I think he sums it up. The finest gunner I ever served with. His initiative sets him apart from his peers, a true expert in weapons deployment. He ensured his battalion was on the cutting edge of training techniques. A great teacher, coach, and mentor, thoughtful, thinks before he speaks, wastes no words, experience, enthusiasm, expertise, and dedication. Mark Salmons excels. He moves on to be the regimental gunner at 25th Marines, and Lieutenant Colonel John Brueggemann and Colonel Rob Durkin are now in his reporting chain. He's a true combat multiplier. Unlimited potential for the most demanding gunner billet in our Corps. His technical and tactical knowledge is incredible, a superb officer, exactly what was envisioned when the gunner program was created. I don't think you can loft any higher praise on a gunner than to say, you're the guy we were envisioning. So Mark, it's pretty high praise. And you earn every bit. Out at SOI West, I referred to a little bit there, and he's got Colonel Kevin Woolley and Brigadier General Mike Brogan are now reporting on him. Constant presence in the training area, tremendous value to the instructors as a mentor. And he's sought out by all ranks, instituted a weapons research process that I talked about. Colonel Brogan said that he impacted over 14,000 Marines, defines the thoughtful warrior. Colonel Woolley says he's never been too busy to stop and answer questions. And then there's a lot of credit given for things that he's brought into the infantry, be it the rifle combat optic, be it the M27, be it the work that he did in his current capacity of going out for Sea Dragon and getting MAWs, and getting the squad designated marksman rifle, getting suppressors, and there's a lot of people that had helped in contributing that effort, but Mark was the lead. He was the front man in bringing that in to enhance our infantry for the future. Stephen Bien wrote wonderful things on you when you were in Brigadier General John Simmons also, when you were out there. His ability to plan, coordinate, and synchronize has been the key to training over 15,000 Marines. Now let me get lastly to when you kind of move on to PP&O, and then I want to turn the floor over to you because people don't want to hear me. We want to hear you, Mark. We want to shake your hand at the end of it and say thank you for a job well done. And Colonel Bill Vista is here, and so one of these 22 people that I'm kind of referring to along the way, who all see Mark Salmons the same way. Bill says he's a master in the development of training and training policy. Gordon Miller's chiming in that he's able to see the big picture, exactly what we need, working at PP&O and inside Headquarters Marine Corps. I already talked about the Sea Dragon business. And he's ensuring that the ground combat element is organized, trained, and equipped for the next fight. And that is hugely important, and in the newspaper today, the Commandant is making news on a lot of the things that Mark Salmons was directly responsible for. Everything that the Commandant had in the newspaper today about the 12-man squad, the weapons, anything that had to do in support of the other fine Marines that work down at POG, he's kind of unveiled as the infantry of the future and what it means to fight next. And Gunner Salmon's hands and fingertips are on every piece of what the Commandant is talking about today as breaking news. So we congratulate you and thank you for all those contributions, Mark, for lastly, and this is where I'll end, and maybe one brief remark after, but Bill Vista says, Chief Warrant Officer 5, Marine Gunner Mark Salmons serves the colors. And he does it with passion and commitment, all the while never losing his personable and approachable demeanor. And I think that's the Mark Salmons we all have come to know and have served with. It is the same Mark Salmons that showed up on the yellow footprints, dedicated to serve his nation from day one in that manner. It's the same Mark Salmons that's doing that today on the final day of his service as he moves into retirement. Mark, you've given all that you can give. You've deployed to Iraq 3 times. You've been in Kosovo. You've been supporting Shark Edge, all those other things when you're out with 1-6. We thank you for your commitment, for putting your life on the line, for coming home, having all your limbs, able to carry on phase 2 with your wife as you move to Austin. And it takes some time to just think about what you've done, decompress, and figure out what the Salmons family wants to do next, because there's unlimited opportunities for guys with your kind of character, drive, organizational ability, vision, and the ability to deliver results. That's marketable anywhere you want to go. So I don't have one doubt in my mind that the Salmons family is going to be wildly successful in the next chapter of your life. I know I speak for all when I say good luck to you, and best wishes for a great chapter 2. Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. On behalf of Chief Warrant Officer 5, Marine Gardner Salmons, and his family, we thank you for attending today's retirement ceremony. Please join the Salmons family at the reception